Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the guys and herbs and all my brothers and sisters out there. You know what I'm saying? Day 3 of what I'm calling the free thinkers. That's not a set name, but you gotta be a free thinker and think outside the box. So I'm gonna give you a little background on myself real quick. I was born in 1970, October 23rd, under the name of Malik Saeed Abdul Rashid. My mom and pop sent me to Islamic school up until the 8th grade. They sent me to Egypt for a summer to study the religion of Islam. And then, I had a sheltered, nice life, secure life. But then, sometimes families break up. And when my mom and pop got divorced, I got a crash course of introduction into the streets. Because before that, I wasn't allowed to really go off the block. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't grow up out there learning. I had to learn everything real fast, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't take it back for nothing, because I've met a lot of people down there that I love to this day, like Brother Hawk right here. You know what I'm saying? But so that led me on the road. I guess that's why I got a substance abuse problem. You know what I'm saying? Because I always knew deep in my soul what I was doing was conflicting with what I was really raised to be and what I was really meant to be. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm just back on the road to redemption, trying to get back to living God-like. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? God gave me a second chance. 2 weeks ago, I was in a coma for 3 days. So I'm taking it serious, and I'm going to give it to my boy Hop.
Islam, peace, assalamu alaikum, shalom. Right back at you, day 3. We really kind of want to touch on, we got a lot of feedback, negative and positive, mostly positive, about how we've been speaking these last few times we put a video out. So we decided to kind of speak, so, the comments, people who know us try to tell how we went down the road to enlightenment, or more enlightenment than, let's say, the religion that people know us to have been on all these years, which we are still on. It's just that we've expanded ourselves to be able to accept information and help from other schools of thought, higher learning, right? So with me, Malik is like a year or two older than me. I was born in Philly in 1973. My mom and dad was married. They actually are and was Jehovah's Witnesses, so I actually grew up under a strict upbringing, not Islamic. We was Jehovah's Witnesses, so I came up under that, which was has a lot of good to it. Plus, it actually prepared me very well to enter into Islam, which I did once I turned 17. So I've always been up under discipline. That's why I was always able to control my mind and stuff. And just coming up, I always loved God, believed in God and all that, this, that, and the third. But I always understood the conflicts, that was going on in our world. So I looked at certain stuff I didn't want to be a part of. You know what I mean? I always knew that when I was a kid. Nothing against any. It's falsehood in all of the religions, but it's just at the time when I was young, I was like, no. Plus, I looked up to Muhammad Ali. I have an uncle who used to be, he was Muslim. He was the only Muslim in the family before me. So and he stayed in prison, but he was decent in my mind, and he is. So I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be a fighter, boxer. So I went into boxing, and I eventually became Muslim. So, but let's say down the line, I'm talking about years down the line, like coming up on now. Like years, I raised my family, my kids. I got a Muslim family. Still, like back in the day, I used to argue with my pops about racial stuff. And I used to be like, man, he just messed up because he grew up in the time with Jim Crow, all that shit. But for real, he was right about certain things. He was right about certain things. I got, man, this and the third. So down the line, let's say years down the line, I'm Muslim. I got relationships with people that's Muslim that are pale. I love these people, right? And, I just going through different things and seeing stuff and seeing how people are. Even if they are Muslim, even if they are Christian, it don't mean nothing. People we all programmed a certain way in this society. You got to break away from that in order to to a sin. So I've been let down by people in my life that I thought, but then I had to, and I was mad for a while, and this pushed me into like, let's say the race stuff for a minute. Went a couple years being mad and angry about stuff, not leaving Islam or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm still a Muslim. You know what I mean? I'm a Moor, all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I am. That's what I represent. I can't be nothing else. But, Muslim people might say, oh, he off-it Muslim, or he one of them niggas. You know what I mean? You for real, I'm like one of them dudes that I used to look up back in the day that was tripping. But for real, a dude that been through the Nation of Islam, the Sunni Islam, all this different stuff, he has a vast amount of knowledge that he can offer. He know how to balance all that stuff. So I'm kind of like turned into one of them cats. But really what pushed me into just looking at the Indian stuff, I always knew I was like connected to that because my mom said that we was, our grandmother was Seminole and our great-grandfather was a Cherokee. So I always knew that. I always knew I'm not African. There's nothing wrong with being, I love Africans in Africa. But, we cousins. We not, you know what I mean? We is related. Trust and believe that. But not via no slave trade and all that, you know what I'm saying? So pushing me into that, I started getting more into like stuff that was connected to my origin and the origins of my people. We not lost. We ain't never really been lost. We just lost in the mind. You know what I'm saying? You find yourself, and you can worship the Creator however you want to do it. I choose to do it Islamically. That's my discipline is Islam. So, I don't. You don't want to upset nobody, but at the same time, I learned this stuff for you and me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't learned just to keep this stuff a secret. Come to the point where you got to have some courage to say some things that's going to benefit you and your children and other people's children. And this is all it is. I ain't trying to get nothing out of nobody. I am who I am, regardless if you like it or dislike it. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no matter what we say on here, somebody gonna have something to say about it. So it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta speak our truth. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And
well,
I know for me, that's why Islam is. I bang with Islam because Islam it teach you to study all the scriptures, bro. Teach you all of them are connected. All of them are connected.
Right.
All of them connected.
I wouldn't respect knowledge if it wasn't for Islam. Like the virtue, Islam taught me the virtues of a lot of different things. It taught me the virtue of knowledge, the virtue of prayer, the virtue of remembrance. All of these virtues I kind of like sharpened and learned inside of Islam. But I know for a fact that these things exist inside of what the Jehovah's Witnesses do, what the Christians do, with the Bible Hebrew, you know what I'm saying, that's not Christian. You know what I mean? Everybody, and for real, out of all the religion that we learn, we still haven't learned how to be, like in Islam, to have bir and taqwa, like to be pious and righteous, and but it's still something else on top of that, to have a certain level. If you have knowledge and you know certain things, you should have a level of benevolence in how you deal with all the issues. Even when you disagree, you should disagree in the best way. And even in the Quran, Allah tells us to deal with them in the best way. So if you disagree with what we saying, first of all, you should ask us questions and then do the knowledge to if we say a thing, like, yo, the earth flat. Don't say niggas is tripping because they saying the earth flat. Do the knowledge and see if the earth is really flat. Or whatever, because there's a lot of stuff to that people, they just stuck on the news and Channel 12, whatever they taught you on PBS or whatever. But so we all in the same boat. Man, I'm trying to be free.
I feel that. I think we probably wrapped our time up for this session right here. Hope we got all this on recording. And we'll be talking to y'all soon, God willing. And hope everybody that sees this is in the best of health, mentally and physically.
Yeah, and I want to say peace to everybody. And tell everybody to be great. Be good, though. And be sharp with everything you do. Be disciplined in what you do. Even if you're gonna refute, then be sharp. Learn something about it. Just don't say it ain't true, or just say people bugging. You know what I'm saying? Just like back in the day when we used to give dawah to non-Muslim people, and you tell them that everything will line up. Yeah, oh yeah, everything we say about God, everything we say about the prophets and the messages, they say yeah, and then they reject it. But that was for them at that time. But it's the same thing going on now with it's a big thing, I think, that's going on right now, and people got to come out of that energy of being separate and thinking they can do it all alone. Because we can't, because our people is so mixed up over here. We are everything. We are Christians. We are all of that. What they say, the names and all that, right? In order for us to make sense out of all this, our kids out here getting shot and killed in the streets. They don't have no direction. They don't respect themselves. They don't respect us at times. All that different kind of stuff. So we trying to fight back. We ain't trying to fight y'all. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to fight y'all. So that's what it is.